everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for being here today. I hope you're all doing so well, and let me know, like, how is summer going right now? I've always considered myself like a fall, winter type of person, but this last few spring and summer, warmer weather, ocean breeze, blue skies, they've just gotten me, and I really feel like the tides are turning and that I'm becoming more of a summer and spring person. But anyway, let me know how you're doing. How is summer going? Are you off of school? I'm finishing up a summer course right now, and not having fun about it. Anyway, today's video is going to be a book haul. I just got back from Green Apple Books in San Francisco, and I picked out so many good books. I went with some of my grad school friends, and it was really fun to kind of, I don't know, book shopping with friends is always so much more fun because you're pointing out books that you know and they know and suggestions and authors, and it's just such a good time. So I'm gonna go through these books. I also have a stack over to the right, so yeah, I hope you're in the mood for a long book haul because that's what this is gonna be. So let's just jump right in. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Green Apple books first. We have the classic bestseller Mythology, Timeless Tales of Gods and Heroes. Apparently this was recommended to me by my friend August, who was one of the ladies that I was with today. And this is a book that helped her feel grounded in her understanding of myths before she picked up more retellings and just generally started reading more mythology and learning about it. So this is one of the books that she had to read, and she got it in high school, and she says that it is like #1 what she recommended for someone who is exploring a lot of Greek myth right now. And so I picked it up based on her recommendation, and I'm super excited to get to it. And you're gonna see in this haul that there are quite a few myth-focused books, and that is because I'm working on something very fun, but I need to have more mythology understanding. So in upcoming TBRs, you might see a lot of mythology books on them, and I'm really excited to get to them. So speaking of mythology books, the next book that I picked up from Green Apple is Wake Siren. I haven't heard too many things about this book, but I had seen the cover a few times out in the world. And again, I'm trying to read a lot of mythology in the upcoming weeks, so this looked really good. It says, seductresses and she-monsters, nymphs and demigoddesses populate Ovid's famous Metamorphosis. But what happens when the chase is tracked in the voice of the quarry, when the maiden coolly returns the seducer's gaze, when monstrous transfigurations come sung by those transformed? Wake Siren lays bare the violence lurking in the heart of Ovid's narratives and breaks down these myths that helped build and perpetuate a limiting portrayal of women across centuries of art and literature. Sounds pretty cool. Next up, I picked up a book called The Pisces, which is a book that I feel like has been recommended to me so many times because I am a Pisces, and recently I've been really into water-based books or like ocean-themed books, and this was recommended to me based off of that as well. So I'm really excited to read this, but I'm specifically not reading the synopsis because I've heard that this book is very weird, and I kind of just want to jump in without any impression about what the story is. So I picked this up. The cover looks so cool. I love that it's called The Pisces. And again, I'm really into water-themed books, but I don't want to know. Although I do vaguely remember someone saying it's about a woman falling in love with a fish. Kind of like The Shape of Water. Maybe some stuff happens between the fish. I hear it's really, really weird, but I also hear that a lot of people love it. It says explosive, erotic, and scathingly funny. So we'll see how it goes. All right, the next book is another myth retelling that will be in the mythology-based vlog that will be coming out someday in the future. But that is Daughters of Sparta. I just saw this the other day at Barnes & Noble, but I passed on it. and then I made eye contact at Green Apple, and I was like, okay, this must be fate. So from what I'm understanding, it's about two very prominent figures in Greek mythology who have been written and portrayed in a certain light, and this book breaks down those barriers and shows the story from their perspective. So that is Helen and Clytemnestra. I don't know. Once I find an audiobook for it and I listen to it while I read this, I'm sure I'll learn how to pronounce it. But until then, it just sounds like a really cool book that will give me a different perspective on some myths. So that is fun. All right, this next book looks so cool. I think the cover is so striking and like 1970s type of art style. And that is The Arrest. It's also a signed copy that I found at Green Apple. And I actually haven't looked at the signature, so let's look together. Wow, very fun. Okay. So this book says The Arrest isn't post-apocalyptic. It isn't a dystopia. It isn't a utopia. It's just what happens when much of what we take for granted, cars, guns, computers, and airplanes for starters, quit working. So it sounds like there's lots of machinery that just fails to work, and then it's about the world trying to adjust to this new reality. So it was really the cover that struck me, and then I thought like, oh, I really enjoy like dystopic type of books, and even though the synopsis is trying to say that it's not dystopic, it sounds definitely like an entire world adjustment, and that sounds really interesting, and I'd love to know how all of this machinery has just suddenly stopped working. So I also just love the cover, so woohoo! All right, and then the last book I picked up from Green Apple is 1,000 Ships. Could you guess? This is going in the mythology video. Yes. I had this one on my radar, and then when I was walking around, August pointed it out, or she actually said the name of it. We weren't even near it, and I was like, oh my god, I just saw this downstairs and now I have to go grab it. She said it was fantastic. She also said that the audiobook is wonderful, so I'm gonna try to find an audiobook for it while I read it physically, just because I love a good audiobook performance, but I think it sounds great. Let me give you a little synopsis. In the middle of the night, a woman wakes to find her beloved city engulfed in flames. 10 seemingly endless years of conflict between the Greeks and the Trojans are over. Troy has fallen. From the Trojan women whose fates now lie in the hands of the Greeks to the Amazon princess who fought Achilles on their behalf, from Penelope awaiting the return of Odysseus to the three goddesses whose feud started it all, these are the stories of the women whose lives, loves, and rivalries were forever altered by history's most infamous war. So, sounds like it goes with Daughters of Sparta, and so these will be really interesting to read and see like how they pose these varied perspectives in different ways. So, super stoked. If you've read either of these, let me know what you thought. I'm very, very excited about it, and I wholeheartedly trust August's reading preferences, so very excited to get to this one. So those were all the books that I picked up at Green Apple earlier today, and now I'm just gonna get into the stack of books that were either sent to me as gifts from people to my P.O. box, or publishers, or just a few books that I've picked up over the last couple of months. But let me just say this real quick. I never really thought of myself as a mood reader, because I was like, well, I'll read a romance any time of year. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day, or I'll read a thriller any time of year. But then I noticed that even though that's true, I still do read more of them depending on the season or depending on my mood. So yes, I'll read a romance whenever, but I did read a lot of them around February. So anyway, what I'm saying is I never thought I was a mood reader, and yet this summer, all I want to read is ocean, vacation, beach, coastline themed books. I cannot get enough of them. I read Malibu Rising and this other book called Lizzie and Dante in June, which I'll talk about in my June wrap up in a couple days. But After reading Malibu Rising, I was like, I just want to read books that deal with the ocean. And it doesn't matter the genre. It could be a romance, it could be a thriller, it could be dramatic, it could be heartbreaking. Like, I really don't care what the genre is. I just want books that deal with the ocean or summer or vacation. And so in line with that, I have The Invisible Husband of Frick Island. This is a book that I've already started. I'm only a couple chapters in, so I don't have a real opinion on it. So this book is about this married couple where the husband is a crab fisherman, and one day there's a storm and his boat comes back to land, or they're able to find his boat, but not him. And so everyone knows that he didn't make it, but his wife is not able to accept it. So the whole town starts to go along with this plot where she's acting like he's really there. Like, she's bringing him around town and he's not actually there, but the town has started to buy into it. And there is a news reporter that catches on to this that's very fascinated by this story. And that's all off the back synopsis. I'm only a couple chapters in, so that's just what I'm getting from here. But it just seemed very summery, sad, but also there's a bit of romance in it. And it's all on an island. So there's a lot of fishing, a lot of ocean, a lot of vacation type of talk. I don't know. It just seems like a cute little romance, and I really liked the cover. So that's one ocean themed book. Another one is The Siren. I didn't know what this book was about. I just saw how cool the cover was. I loved the yellow and this like coral color and the bright blue. And I thought, oh, it's probably just like a cruise. That's what it is. Turns out it's actually a little thrilling because it's about this ex-wife and this ex-husband who are movie stars on the same movie. But then it says, 3 very different women arrive on set, each with her own motive. Stella, an infamously unstable actress, is struggling to reclaim the career she lost in the wake of multiple very public breakdowns. Taylor, a fledgling producer, is anxious to work on a film she hopes will turn her career around after her last job ended in scandal. And Felicity, Stella's mysterious new assistant, harbors designs of her own that threaten to upend everyone's plan. And then there's a hurricane that's about to hit, and it just becomes very thrilling. So the cover's a little misleading because it looks like it's just this like beachy thing. But it turns out there's a bit of a Hollywood scandal in it, and I really liked The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo simply because of the Hollywood scandal aspect, so I'm excited to see it. I actually haven't heard very many opinions on it. I'm curious, and it looks like it's beach themed, so there you go. All right, next we have a book that the cover is so intricate to me in a way where I just kind of want to study the cover for a long time because I'm sure there's so much that I'm missing and so much that I'll understand more of once I actually read the book, and that is The Cave Dwellers. Admittedly, it was the cover that really called to me. I love that it's like this kind of antique looking wallpaper type of cover, but then you have this like kind of informal Sharpie of the title. And so just that alone, I was like, what's this about? But apparently it's about these like high society families who like really don't interact with the rest of the world. They just like, I'm picturing like the Hamptons, like just these like rich families that like have this like legacy of a last name. And it turns out that one of the families is murdered. And so the rest of the other families have their world turned upside down because they thought, oh, we like live in this like, you know, this little community that was like safe, and then they're murdered and you don't know who did it. And so there's like a bit of a mystery with it. And it also upends how these families interact with each other. And I'm sure there's a lot of like, I don't know, a lot of like doubting each family now, like who could have done it. So I think it sounds cool. I haven't started it yet, but it reminds me of the movies Ready or Not and You're Next, because those also have these like really rich families that are really twisted behind the seams. So scenes is what I meant to say. So I don't know, it sounds cool. You know, it's just some like highbrow, shitty families that have to figure out who murdered the other family. I think that sounds interesting, so I guess we'll see. All right, next we have The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown. This is actually a book for therapy. I was given a homework assignment for therapy. I've actually started going and it's been really, really great so far. We've only had a few sessions, but it feels really, really good. And on our second session, she gave me a homework assignment that went over really well because we had like something to pull from and something to interact with. And so I told her how much I liked that, and she was like, why am I not assigning you book reading? I think you'd love that. So she assigned me this, and we're gonna work through this book together, and I'm really excited about it. All right, this next book was a gift from the author, and that is Where the Rhythm Takes You by Sarah Doss. This book sounds so good. It sounds like a lighthearted, super summery romance. Probably has like layered things that come up in the actual romance, but like the cover and the title make it sound like there's gonna be musical aspects to it, and the cover is just so bright and colorful. I love it. But it says, 17-year-old Reina has spent most of her life at the Plumeria, her family's gorgeous seaside resort in Tobago. But what once seemed like paradise is starting to feel more like purgatory. It's been 2 years since Reina's mother passed away, 2 years since Aiden, her childhood best friend, first kiss, first love, first everything, left the island to pursue his music dreams. Reina's friends are all planning their futures and heading abroad. And that's when Aiden comes roaring back into her life as a VIP guest at the resort. So a little bit of long lost love, some unfinished business, all taking place at a resort. I'm telling you, this like summer themed beach reads are really what I'm into right now. And so I'm so excited to read this, and thank you again to the author for sending me a copy. I can't wait to read it and give my thoughts in a future video. All right, we have 5 books left. This next one is one of the best covers I've ever received, and this was sent to my P.O. box. Thank you so much to the person that sent it to me, and that is Who's Loving You? Love Stories by Women of Color. Now, I've talked about this over the last couple months, really starting to love short story collections, and the fact that this person sent me a short story collection, but it's specifically about love stories, I'm just so excited for. I think it sounds so good. And again, short stories, I'm in love. So I'm so excited to get to this one. I also think the cover is just wonderful. I think it's so, so beautiful. That orangish yellow and the blues and the pinks and how the colors start to like overlap. Oh, I just think it's beautiful. And the quote says, a beautiful collection that I both lost and found myself in. So very excited to get to this one. And thank you again to the person that sent this to my P.O. box. All right, next we have a book that I am so excited for. It is the July book club pick for the Late Night Book Club. And it was sent to me by the publisher, who is Tom Daughtry Associates, or a Tor.com book. And that is The Chosen and the Beautiful. This book is a retelling of The Great Gatsby. But here's the thing. I read The Great Gatsby for the first time all the way through last summer, and I didn't love it. It was really short and I didn't really get it, I think. But this book sounds like it's gonna be amazing because it has that 1920s glamour, but there's more to it. So it says, Jordan Baker grows up in the most rarefied circles of 1920s American society. She has money, education, a killer golf handicap, and invitations to some of the most exclusive parties of the jazz age. She's also queer and Asian, a Vietnamese adoptee treated as an exotic attraction by her peers, while the most important doors remain closed to her. But the world is full of wonders, infernal pacts and dazzling illusions, lost ghosts and elemental mysteries, and all In all paper is fire, and Jordan can burn the cut paper heart out of a man. She just has to learn how. So this sounds like an excellent retelling of The Great Gatsby. And I just think retellings are so fascinating. So I cannot wait to get to this one and discuss it with Elias and Joel for the late night book club. So there we go. All right, 3 more books. This next one is a book that I saw on like a new releases in 2021. And when I saw the book, I was like, damn it, I wish I could buy that today, right now. But I had to wait until, I think it was the end of May that it finally came out, but I was able to find a copy, and that is Blow Your House Down, A Study of Family, Feminism, and Treason. I just really like the idea of reading a feminist style book, but through this like kind of fairy tale, big bad wolf situation. So I don't know. I think it sounds really cool. It was a cover that definitely caught my eye. And again, I like that fairy tale villain kind of tie-in. So I'll let you know how it is. I haven't really seen any reviews on it so far. Maybe I've just missed them, but I don't have a real impression on how it's gonna read. I just know that it was a highly anticipated release of 2021. So I'm really excited to get to it. Okay, this next book is a book that I'm currently reading, and a book that might end up being one of my favorite books of 2021 because of how much I am loving it. Genuinely, I am absolutely just like devouring this book. I think it is so good, and there's romance, but there's nuance and there's drama, and that is 7 Days in June. Oh my God. I bought this just the other day, and I had other books on my TBR that I was trying to get to, but then I was like, you know what? This says 7 Days in June, and I want to read this in June. So I picked it up and was, I'm not kidding, hooked within the first like 2 paragraphs, where I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be fun, and it might be heartbreaking, but that the author's definitely gonna make me laugh, and I have laughed out loud so many times. But let me read you, oh no, I just lost my page. I'll find it later, okay. Let me read you just a little bit about it. Eva Mercy is a single mom and best-selling erotica writer who is feeling pressed from all sides. Shane Hall is a reclusive, enigmatic, award-winning novelist who, to everyone's surprise, shows up in New York. And so we have 2 authors who run into each other at this big event, and it's immediately charged with kind of chemistry and some anger, and that's because they met and fell in love 15 Junes ago, but they haven't seen or spoken to each other since. So right now I'm unraveling how they fell in love and what happened, like why have they not spoken in 15 years? And the writing is so good. It's so engaging. It's funny, but it's heartbreaking. And our main character has chronic pain. And so you're watching her be this super strong and successful author who feels like they can't discuss their pain because it's not what readers want to see of their favorite authors, you know? So I'm loving it. The romance is so strong and believable, and the chemistry is so palpable, and I just think it's fantastic. So I'll let you know what my full thoughts are. I'm hoping to finish this by my June wrap up, but really, really loving it. And then this last book is a book that was sent to me by one of my best bookish friends. Her name is Jess Decker, and she knows that I've been going through a tough time, and so she sent me this care package, which I wasn't expecting. And then when I opened it, she sent me this book, and that is The Book of Lost Names. She told me that it is a heartbreaking historical romance, but it's also romantic. So I'm excited to get to that. I'm excited to cry, to be honest. But it says, Eva Traub Abrams, a Florida librarian, is at the returns desk one morning when her eyes lock into a photograph in a newspaper nearby. She freezes. It's an image of a book she hasn't seen in 65 years. one she recognizes as the Book of Lost Names. The religious tomb in the photograph, a French text thought to have been stolen by the Nazis, contains a mysterious code that researchers can't decipher. Only Eva holds the key, but does she have the strength to revisit old memories and help reunite those parted in wartime? So this sounds like kind of following a book throughout history and, you know, having to rely on a main character to unravel some old stories and old wounds. But there's romance and there's heartache, and I just think it sounds fantastic. So thank you so much to Jess for sending this to me. And that is the end of this book haul. Let me know down below what book you've picked up recently that you're the most excited to read, whether that's ebook, audiobook, library book, used book, whatever it is. What book have you bought that you like are just, you cannot stop staring at the cover, or you're just so excited to start? Because I'll be honest, there are quite a few. I'm not gonna lie. I think out of all of these books right now, I mean, I already told you, I couldn't wait. I had to read this right away and I'm loving it. But I think out of all these books, I'm really the most intrigued by 1,000 Ships. Purely based off of what August said. She said it was just so good and that the audiobook is so good. So I'm really excited to get to this one, but all of them sound amazing. And anyway, yeah, I hope you all liked this video and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!